So we have Harold here with us today,
Hello.
and let's just start off with some questions. Who are some of your musical influences?
Well, before I start, I would like to say that I'm really honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
So I like to listen to a lot of like different music. So not only classical music, but also like pop and like rap and stuff. I like listening a lot to female artists because I just find their voice to be like really soothing to me. So like pop and rap, I would say like Cardi B, Karol G,
Oh, I
Becky
love her.
G,
Yeah,
yeah. And then classical music. Some of my favorite flutists are Emmanuel Pahud, Catherine Caroli, Denise Vierekov. They're like really good. And just like a lot of orchestras as well, like the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, the LA Phil. I actually want to become a part of the LA Phil when I'm older.
You will. I already know that.
And the Berlin Philharmonic as well. So
It's good stuff. Look at that. I mean, given the fact that you're a flutist, Lizzo's probably another big one.
yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah, for sure. I forgot to mention her.
Lizzo,
Yeah.
When and why did you start playing flute?
So I started in October, I think, of 2021. I was a sophomore in high school. I'm still in high school. I remember I was in marching band, and the reason why I started playing the flute is because since I was in marching band, I wanted to be in the field. I wanted to be treated like the winds, and I used to be in percussion before, so I couldn't really go on the field. I had to like carry a lot of stuff. So I remember I knew I wanted to learn a wind instrument to become part of like the marching band like on the field,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know which one to choose. I was thinking between the trumpet, flute, and saxophone. Um, and but I had a friend. Well, it wasn't my friend at the time, but he was really good at flute, and he was in my band. So I think. Oh, sorry. I think he's the one that like kind of like got me into flute, like just by sounding good.
Yeah.
I thought I wanted to like play like him, and so I remember I went up to my band director and I asked him like, "Do you think I can play the flute?
That's
Can I
good.
just switch from percussion to
And
flute?"
he let you, so.
Yeah, he let me. At first, he was like a little like doubting a little bit because I hadn't played. Actually, the flute is my first like wind instrument that I play like ever, so it was gonna be like a little hard to learn it. And I also wanted to like switch, like not just learn it on my own, but I wanted to be in the band and play flute in the band that I was already
At
in.
the same time,
Yeah, and so he let me learn the flute. And I remember the first rehearsal, I was like barely like pretending to play. I was just moving my fingers randomly.
Yeah.
But I guess I really liked it because I really stuck with it and I practiced a lot. I mean, I practiced like 3 to 4 hours when I was barely learning.
No, yeah.
Um, and then I decided that I really liked it and I actually wanted to take it like really seriously. So that's when I started taking private lessons.
And 2 years later, look at you. So
Yeah.
I feel like that instrument's made for you. Like,
Yeah,
if you were to
I
choose
really-
saxophone or trumpet, like,
I really bonded with the flute.
yeah. But it's you see, you play beautifully. And
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of flute, career-wise, where do you see yourself in the future? You mentioned the LA Phil.
Yeah, so I really want to become a part of an orchestra, like a established, really like well-named orchestra. I think I would like to be part of the LFL because even though it's not like the best orchestra in the world, I just feel like a connection with the orchestra. I remember when I went for the first time, it just felt like it felt like home when
That's
I was
right.
there.
Oh, you've been to the
Yeah,
concerts.
yeah. So I remember the first time, it just felt like really special. And I had already been to other major orchestras before I went to see the LFL, but it just felt so special that I knew I wanted to be like a part of the LFL.
And it's home. It's LA.
Yeah,
It's
it's
the
like
most popular.
yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully in the future I can join an orchestra, be like a principal player for an orchestra, and also be a private teacher to like keep the tradition going of
Yeah.
playing the flute.
The fact that you're like practicing hours a day, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't even do that shit, and I'm
Yeah.
so that's just really impressive, you know. Where's your family from?
So my whole family is from Guatemala. We're like fully Guatemalan. I was born here, but then I was taken to Guatemala because my parents were going to Guatemala. And so even though I was born here, I was raised in Guatemala like my whole childhood. And then I came here like 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I came here like in the middle of 8th grade.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
There's this joke that said it went it's about Guatemala. He's like his friend said, "Oh, I want you to marry a Guatemalan," you know?
Mm-hmm.
So when he went to the altar, he was like, "Wait, this isn't a watermelon, it's a watermelon." I'm sorry, I had to throw that in. But yeah, so watermelon, 100%. Tell us about your piece Tambourine, which you're gonna be performing for us.
So tambourine is actually really interesting. I have a little history with that piece. So I remember when I was having lessons, it was like maybe 2 months or three into lessons, and my teacher was having a recital, like a studio recital. So all her students were gonna be performing solo.
And how long ago was this?
Um, Maybe like a year and a half, or like a year ago at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it was gonna be my first ever recital. My teacher like asked me if I wanted to participate in it because I was barely like with her for like a couple months. So I said yes anyways. And so she asked me like what would I like to play, and I told her like I don't know, I just kind of want to play something more like on the classical side because I like classical music and classical flute. Um, but I told her I want to play one slow piece and one fast piece because I wanted to challenge myself.
Yeah.
And so she gave me the slow piece, which I will be performing today as well. I love that piece. But I remember the fast piece. I was like, the beginning of the piece is not really demanding. So I remember I took it like at tempo in my first lesson that I was playing for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got to the end, I slowed down so much because the second page is like a lot harder.
Crazy. It's like all 16.
Yeah, so and it's all double tonguing as well. So I remember I was like struggling. That was like my first time like actually double tonguing in a concert. And
only
so,
after a year playing flute too. So.
no, not even. It was like 2 months.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I really wanted to challenge myself. And so when I had the recital, I was ready. Like my fingering technique was all good, but my double tonguing was not strong enough. So you can hear in the recording of the the recital that when I get to the like you just lose. You just only hear some of the notes coming out.
Oh my god.
And it was like horrible. And then I was like, you know, whatever. Like I know I'll get better, and so I'll keep practicing it and maybe get the chance to perform it another time. And so actually my junior year, so this past year, I was performing a lot like solistically at school as well, just because I had a lot of chances, and since I feel a lot more comfortable with my skills, I just like to perform. And so I wanted to perform my same recital that I had my first recital, so the exact same pieces, because I just thought it would bring memories, and also because I was like more advanced, I would do more justice to the music.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and so
like redeem yourself from the double tongue.
Yeah. And so I remember at a band performance, my band director usually has like solos or like chamber ensembles play while the people are coming in, just to kind of like entertain them. And so he asked me to play something, and I was practicing something else at the time, but I was like, no, I want to play this piece that I didn't do so well the first time. And so I remember I practiced it, and it went well. But I remember the notes were like being kind of hard to learn. And so I remember literally as the people were walking in, I was like outside the gym because we have the concerts in the gym. I was literally practicing the piece like before going in because it was like so hard. I think at the time it felt like really hard. And so I was like, because I wanted to really do good. Like I know people weren't probably going to even pay attention to me, but it felt like such an important thing to me.
No, yeah.
So I was really freaking out, and I was like practicing slowly and everything. I was like, people were walking in, and then I just walk in, and I did good. So the performance went well.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to share it again.
Yeah, and that's what you're gonna do here. So I love how you say, because as a classical musician, there's such demand for playing a piece perfectly.
Yes.
So I love how you want to bring justice to those pieces.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. Yeah. All right. So with all this said, what's some advice you can give any aspiring musicians out there?
Well, take your time. I would say make sure that you like it, but also give it a little bit of time, because with the flute, I thought I wanted to quit the flute when I was barely learning it.
How far into?
Like maybe 1 week I already was like, I don't think this instrument is for me, because I mean it was my first one instrument, and then did you know that the flute takes the same amount of air as a tuba? Yeah,
so being a tuba player, that's
so but only that you have to like be able to play fast and use that much air. So I was like, I don't think this instrument is for me. Like I don't sound good in it.
After a week.
And I can barely make a sound on this, and I was like starting to give up officially because I would get so lightheaded. Like with only playing a quarter note, I would get so lightheaded. And so I was like, I just don't think I can manage this instrument. But I was like, I just have this mentality all the time that I'm like, I'm not gonna give up until like I know I can for sure not do it. So I kept practicing and practicing. I'll like practice in the band room that we used to have like a practice room. So I'll be there like the whole lunchtime, the whole nutrition time practicing, after school practicing, and I just never gave up on it. But at first it really seemed like I wasn't gonna be able to do it. So I would say if you're really aspiring to be a musician, be patient with yourself, and it's okay to feel frustrated. it's okay to not be perfect, but just keep working on it.
Yeah, but that's beautiful. You practice, and it must feel so rewarding once you play it correctly.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Sure. And your tone is impeccable right now, and
thank you.
Yeah, so you'll only get better from here on out.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
Beautiful advice. Well, that's Harold Castro for everybody. So thank you for
thank
being
you for
on
having
the
me.
show.
Yeah,
Very
thank
cool.
you.